Hi guys, and welcome to my Bajerski YouTube channel. It's kind of a part two to the last video I just did about saging, and it's a really interesting question, guys. And it's not gonna be 3 or 4 minutes. This is gonna be a longer video. It's for anybody who's really interested in really truly going deep and understanding the truth about saging and about spirit and about cleansing. This is something that I do talk about a lot in my 4-day pure energy healing courses, and it's vital that you understand this because there is a misconception by many part-time practicing healers and psychics. When I say part-time, it's because they call themselves a psychic and a healer, and they say they've been doing it for 3 or 4 years, but what really, when you break it down and say, well, what does that mean? You probably find that they might have done 1 or 2 sessions in a week, or maybe 3 or 4, or maybe 10 at best. And that's sporadic. It's sporadic, sorry. It's never constant. Whereas if you want to really truly know somebody or really want to learn from somebody, it's surely got to be somebody who's put the hours in. So 13 years ago, I started doing this work and I did it full time, which meant I woke up in the morning and I worked through the full day and sometimes night, 7 days a week. So I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of sessions and hours. So let's start at the very beginning. I had to say that because this is my kind of ammunition or my spiritual science behind it because of experience and many hours. So the question was asked, and it was a brilliant question. Yesterday, Mark, you did a video and it was regarding sage and saging and clearing spirit from the house. If I sage my house in the way you saged, will I lose my connection with my mother who's in the spirit world? What a brilliant question. Well done. And I love to answer that question. Okay, let's start at the beginning. There is something that I found very profound when I was doing my healing work with sage on clients. And that is, any client that needed a saging, really needed, but didn't realize they needed it, would find the sage overwhelming, overpowering, and to the extent that they got angry and told me to stop. When I first started, I was so nervous that I stopped. But over the years, I realized that when people said stop, it meant that they needed it more than anybody else. So I would continue, and I would continue and continue until whatever that energy which was attached to them, which is normally fear, anger, or frustration, or a few other, being lost and not understanding anything, that. Let me give you another, for example, because we're talking about spiritual. Let's talk about physical. You might get this a bit more. Does anybody know what noni juice is? Okay, noni juice is from a tree, and I think it's in, I don't know, Hawaii or somewhere like that. It's a special tree, and they take the noni fruit and they press it and then they bottle it. And what noni juice fascinated me is when I first tasted noni juice, I nearly spat it out 13 years ago. And I thought it was the most disgusting taste and I didn't want none of it. I said never again. And the interesting thing is, the lady who was selling it said, "That's brilliant." And I said, "What's brilliant?" She said, "It shows that your body needs it more." And I went, "Really?" She went, "Absolutely." She said, "You need this bottle more than anybody for your body." So, okay, this lady seemed genuine. She was passionate. So I bought a bottle and I started drinking it. And let me tell you, within a spate of a few weeks, the noni juice started tasting better and better. And now when I drink noni juice, it's like electrifying in my body. I absolutely love it. I can feel it. I can feel the amazingness of it, like I can all fruits that I drink now. So what I'm trying to say to you is that on a spiritual level, which is far more important as far as I'm concerned along our journey, is that when you need something to clear you, When somebody places their love and heart and hands all over you and you're feeling pain and suffering, it's because you need it more than anybody else. Because what's happening is we're trying to clear this emotion. We're trying to clear this energy. Okay, so now you understand that, I can go back to where we began. When you move into the light, you are what's called the ultimate spirit, the highest level of energy, the enlightened. You are back home now. You are free from any pain and suffering. So your spirit is pure and clear. So there is nothing that can hurt you. There's nothing that can cause any issue because you are pure. Okay? That's your mum, by the way, to the lady who sent that message. Your mum is pure. She is love. She is in the light. She is home. However, when I started walking into properties, and people were saying to me, Mark, there is something very wrong in my property. Mirrors are smashing, taps are being turned on. I feel bad in certain rooms, and all of a sudden I think there's somebody here. Most of the time it wasn't anybody, but every now and again I would sense spirit in the room. So, how can I give you an example? Okay, I'll give you an example. I was asked to go to Ibiza. Okay, so I went to Ibiza, and while I was in Ibiza, a lady said, would you come and cleanse my house? It was an old cortico, beautiful house. And she never said anything. She said, would you cleanse it? I said, sure, I love doing it. So I took my sage, I took my crystals, and I started. So room from room, I started saging all the rooms. And in one particular room, I stopped saging. I put the sage bowl to one side, I sat down, and all of a sudden, I sat on this bed, and all of a sudden, I felt the presence of an old man. I turned, and I saw a man in his 80s on the bed, and shaking, and white foam from his mouth, coming out of his mouth. I immediately went and picked the sage bowl up, and I started saging that room. And as I started saging it, the sage set on fire. Woof! So I'm blowing like mad in this room, blowing. And then I must have been in that room for 10 minutes. Then all of a sudden my pressure in my heart disappeared. And then I did all the rest of the rooms everywhere. When I finished, I sat down and I explained to the client that there was one particular room that I felt there was somebody in that room, and I explained why. 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, I got a message from this lady, and she said that one of her neighbours has explained that many years ago there was a farmer who was farming the land who owned this property. And he was working with a new chemical to put over the plants. And apparently the chemical was so toxic that one night he passed away, and that he was poisoned by this chemical. And they said that he had been sick all over his mouth. So that's what I saw. Now, think about this. When you are about to pass, and you are in a very bad place, a really bad place, it is a shock energy for the spirit to sometimes move into the light. And what happens is they are, I call it spirit in denial. They don't go into the light. They refuse to go because of whatever's happened, whether they're angry, fearful, or in pain. Sometimes, just sometimes, they don't move into the light, and they're called spirit trapped in between two worlds. Now let's go back to the lady who I used to sage on the bed, who used to get very angry with me because she was lost, fearful, frightened, all of these negative energies. She hated it. Take away the body, take away her physical body, and that spirit would still feel the same, because that spirit is feeling all of these energies, because that is part of your emotion. Only until you move into the light that all the emotions disappear and you become pure. Therefore, spirit trapped between two worlds have all of these fears, which I recognize by going into houses and seeing and feeling this fear. Okay? So when you have this sage and you're blowing it around in a home and it's filled with people who are trapped in between two worlds and negative energy, they, just like the lady who sits down, who doesn't like it, they don't like it. And all of a sudden, it disappears. Either two things happen. You clear that fear so they're able to go into the light, or they leave that part of the home and go somewhere else. That I don't know about. That I am only making that up. I don't know whether they go into the light after you clear that from sage, because it's almost like a cleanser and then they move into the light, or they go somewhere else but they don't come back. So I don't know. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. I'm not here to be egoistic. I'm here to tell you what I see, observe, and I share with you by my whole heart and my truth. So that I don't know. But what I do know is that they don't come back. That the house is cleared and I never get a message saying, Mark, I need you to come back. There's another problem. I've never had that after I've saged. So let me tell you, my beautiful friend who asked me that message, will my connection with my mother in the spirit world be lost? No, it won't, because they are pure. There is no fear. There is no anger. There is no bitterness. There is no suffering when you move into the light. So your mother comes and goes. And how do I know that? My dear friends, I have been working for 13 years in either this academy or other places where I sage every week, and spirit loves to come in. I'm talking about spirit from the spirit world, not trapped in between two worlds. I hope that answers your message. And on a brighter note, guys, let's lighten up a little bit. This spiritual and wonderful understanding should be light, filled with jokes and happiness, because happiness is what spirit wants from you. They want to see you happy, not sad, or not, oh, this is serious. So if you want, let's leave this on a very serious note. You ready? Let me think of something. Okay, I will leave you on a very powerful message. My dear friends, you can pick your friends. You can pick your nose, but you cannot pick your friend's nose. Sorry guys, I have to laugh at my own jokes because nobody else does. Okay, from next time, from my heart to yours, have a beautiful day, guys, and hold on to that truth that I've just given you, okay? Thank you for subscribing to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. Take care, guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. You're in my heart always. Take care. Bye.